Shanah Tovah. It is my honor and pleasure to share with you my thoughts for this Rosh Hashana 5781. I got to tell you that a year ago, as I personally experienced my first fail in 35 years of sounding the shofar in Birmingham, and what a fail it was, I figured that last year's Rosh Hashana had to be about as weird a Rosh Hashana as I would ever experience. Oh, but I was wrong. This year has proven to be a bit more unusual, and I don't have to explain why I say that. You know. We all know why Rosh Hashana for 5781 has to be different. But because of the creativity, hard work, and devotion of Rabbi Slater and his talented colleagues and staff, and because of the hard work, love, and devotion of our numerous volunteers, we are going to be able to experience our holy seasons in ways we've never imagined. While it will be wonderful and exciting to have these new experiences, I'm sure you all, like me, look forward to being back in Temple Bethel next year, where we can all be together spiritually and physically. But this year, while we literally walk forward together in a new way to experience the High Holy Days, let's support and connect with each other through the happiness and excitement that praying with our feet will bring. With my whole heart and on behalf of my board and executive committee, I want to make sure that all involved in planning for this year know that we are very grateful for the holy work that has been done to make our High Holy Day experiences as wonderful as possible at this odd time of the pandemic. So as of July, I am now taking a turn as the current president of Congregation Bethel. You might not know that we have 53 people who have taken a turn at being president of the Congregation Bethel, with one, Mr. Louis Pizet, serving 2 tours of duty. Many of you listening to my comments for Rosh Hashanah for 5781 are related to one or more of those 53 leaders. I have had the privilege of knowing 35 of these folks, 23 of whom are still around providing counsel and leadership. All of these folks have been a source of inspiration to me, and I'm sure to you too. Remembering and thinking about these past leaders this year, where our primary daily connections to each other are more remote and separate, has made me think about what it means to be a member here. But what is here? Did you know that our legal name is Congregation Bethel? For my whole life, I've always thought of us as Temple Bethel. But what the events of this year have made me realize is that while we love our wonderful and historic sanctuary and building, and what we would give to be praying together in it this year, it is fitting that we really call ourselves Congregation Bethel. What's the difference in whether we call ourselves Temple Bethel or Congregation Bethel? Temple Bethel in our minds is a holy place where we as a congregation can choose to pray, either together or sometimes on our own. It's a beautiful place, an historic place. A place of vivid memories, a place of happiness. It's been a place of sorrow as well. It is a place where we often feel the closeness of our families, our community, and yes, a place where we often feel close to God. It is a home away from home. It is a home for the community we share. It is a refuge for us and our kin. It is the face of our community to the outside world. But this year reminds us that in Jewish history, Jews have always had a holy place. It was once called the temple. But history also teaches us that when it all boils down to the essence of our relationship with God and with each other, we are more than a place. We are more than the building in which we normally pray, celebrate, mourn, socialize, have family events, or just be alone with our God. We are a congregation, an assembly of persons who gather as a group for spiritual worship, fellowship, and learning. And this year, more than any other that I can remember, make us all more acutely aware of this difference. So thinking about Rosh Hashanah this year, and of the 53 men and women who have served as president of the Congregation Bethel, I have concluded that our efforts should always be to try to make Jewish experiences of Temple Bethel or Congregation Bethel as meaningful as possible. When we cannot be together, we still have to use creativity and the power of our relationships with each other to forge these meaningful experiences. One of those efforts that we have embarked on this year has the power of combining our past to our present while making meaningful use of the jewel we call our synagogue. I am so happy to announce this wonderful project that has as its beginning an amazing gift to us by the Mattinson family, who you will know as the family of Rabbi Abraham J. Mesh, who was our rabbi for over 26 years. The Madison family gift of the Judaic book collection of Merle and Nisa Mattinson and a substantial cash gift by the family will be used by Temple Bethel to create what will be known as the Madison Mesh Beit Midrash. This wonderful sacred learning space will be developed using space on the third floor of Temple Bethel and will support Jewish learning and serve as the home of the Madison Jewish Library Collection, as well as materials from our own Temple Bethel Library. The rabbi and I believe that this gift has the potential to help us create wonderful space within Temple Bethel that will be used for study, learning, which is not necessarily the same thing, and a place where our board can meet. Every time we use it, we will be reminded that Temple Bethel's past history and devoted leaders, both lay and professional, have brought us to where we are and inform us, to some degree, on where we will be heading. On a more global basis, it reminds us as a Jewish people of our historic past is something to be valued, as it informs us on where we will be heading as well. As part of our wonderful discussions with the Madison family about the creation of the Madison Mesh Beit Midrash, we recognize that Temple Bethel will have a role to play in developing funding for the project, in addition to a generous cash gift that the Madison family has made on top of the beautiful collection of books. Temple Bethel will embark on a mission to provide funding to not only build out the space for our new Beit Midrash, but also to provide funding through an endowment for the Madison Mesh Beit Midrash so that programming and upkeep can be assured. To kick off that effort, I'm happy to tell you that the family of a former employee of my law firm, who had passed away not too long ago, wanted to make a gift that would be meaningful to our firm. The family decided to make the gift to Temple Bethel in honor of their loved one, and they did this because they knew how important Temple Bethel had been to many lawyers in our firm, several of whom had served in the role that I'm serving today as president of the congregation. And they asked me to direct that donation. As soon as I received the gift, I just knew that it was the answer to jumpstart our soft fundraising that I wanted to do to fund the Beit Midrash and the programming that will be associated with it. And who would have thought such an important gift would come from outside of our community? God does indeed work in mysterious ways. You will hear more about the development of the Madison Mesh Beit Midrash and of how we hope to make a way for members of our congregation, especially those with a connection to Rabbi Mesh and his family, to have a way to honor that memory and to help us as we develop the Beit Midrash in a way I know will be some of the most used and meaningful space in our place. With all that is happening for us at Temple Bethel, I have to address what happened today. As you know, I am recording this message on September 15th. Earlier today, I watched our president, the Prime Minister of Israel, and leaders from the UAE and Bahrain sign agreements which begins what we will hope will be a permanent peace between Israel and the Arab world. It is stunning and exciting to see what seems to be impossible becoming possible. While the focus of my comments to you for 5781 has been on how Bethel congregation is who we are and how much we value our special place, and on one of the most exciting things that we have been working on for the future, the Madison Mesh Beit Midrash, I hope you, like me, cannot help but be overwhelmed with joy with the prospect of peace for our beloved state of Israel and what that will surely mean for world Jewry, including Congregation Bethel. So as I begin this presentation speaking on how unusual this Rosh Hashana has been compared to the past, I want to end with the same thought, but one that is infused with the thought of peace in our world. With that said, Glennis and I extend a hearty Shanah Tovah to all of you. We look forward to seeing everyone as soon as possible back in our place, which we affectionately call Temple Bethel. When we are all together again, what will be new about Temple Bethel will be the Beit Midrash, which will hold our historic treasures, our books, and become a very special place where our congregation can assemble as a group for spiritual worship, fellowship, and learning. Thank you.